Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of All Things Universal Orlando. Today, we're going to be looking at the top 5 movies I think you should be watching before you go to studios. So before we begin, I want to remind you to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we put out a new video. And remember to check us out on Instagram, and now you can also find us on Facebook for exclusive content. Let's get to it. This was not a video that I was intending on making, and somebody suggested it to me, I believe it was on Instagram, and I thought, what a great idea this is. And I thought, what are the top 5 movies to watch before going to the studio side of things at Universal Orlando? And one of the things I do is watch different movies before I go to Universal Studios. Things that the attractions or the different areas of the park are themed around that I think will enhance my time at the parks. And I'm just going to make some suggestions. I want to remind you, I'm not reviewing these movies, whether they're good or bad movies. I'm going to give you some basic ideas, when they were made, those kind of things. But I'm not here to tell you whether or not I think they were good movies. I am here to tell you whether or not I think they will enhance your time at the park. So here we go. Let's get right to it.
Great Scott, number 5.
Number 5 is The Mummy. Now, The Mummy has become kind of an iconic ride at Universal on studio side. And it replaced Confrontation, which was one of the original attractions and one of my favorite rides. I hated to see Confrontation go, but The Mummy has come in and done a really good job, has some nice longevity. And I think a big part of why that ride and why that attraction is so successful is because the movie that it's based on is still pretty relevant and still pretty popular. One of the more popular things that Brendan Fraser has ever done, if not the most popular. It comes in at number 5. The movie The Mummy was released in 1999. It stars Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. It's directed by Stephen Sommers, and it had a follow-up, The Mummy Returns, in 2001, and then there was actually a part 3 that came out a few years later. I don't recommend you watch the third one. It's really nothing special. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not a great movie. The first 2 are really good. Like I said, it's written and directed by Stephen Sommers. It's loosely based on the 1932 original film that starred Boris Karloff. But this one concentrates a lot more on action, and in particular, comedy. I actually think there's some very funny scenes in this movie. And the humor of the movie is brought about in the ride. Of course, at the end, when Brendan Fraser is yelling about his cup of coffee and the mummy hands it to him, it's just great stuff, really, when you think about it. This film was a box office success. It did spawn, like I say, 2 sequels. It also had a spin-off in The Scorpion King starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And that even went into a series. It's all right, again, nothing great. But the first 2 movies are really good, and I think you should watch it. I think it will enhance everything about this ride. You'll be familiar with so many things in this ride that you wouldn't be if you didn't watch the movie. Like I said, it was a success for Brendan Fraser. It was a success when they brought it to the theme park and turned it into a ride instantly, and it is now probably one of the more popular rides on the studio side. And for all those reasons, I think you should be watching The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, and that's why that comes in at number 5.
Number 4. Boop, boop, doop, boop.
The 4th movie I think you should be watching to improve your time at the park, to make the attractions better, is Men in Black. 1997, Men in Black came out. Barry Sonnenfeld directed this movie starring Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, and it was instantly a huge hit. Music by Danny Elfman. It's a great movie, fun movie, long movie, great movie. It really is really good. And if you really want to appreciate something, don't miss the performance by Vincent D'Onofrio. That's all I'm going to say. If you haven't seen this movie, go see it. That Vincent D'Onofrio is great in this movie, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. This is an excellent movie, and it's probably my favorite ride or my favorite attraction on the studio side. It's so fun just to line up and do this so many times, see how many times I can get a max score or get my highest score. Men in Black Alien Attack is a great ride, like I said, and the movie is part of what makes it great. It'd be great without the movie, but the movie makes it even better with the backstory of how Will Smith becomes a Men in Black guy and the relationship between he and Tommy Lee Jones. There was a sequel to this movie, Men in Black 2, in 2002 with the same cast, and it's just an extension of the story. It's actually really good. And then actually in 2012, they reprised it again, their roles in with Men in Black 3, adding Josh Brolin to the mix as he played a young Tommy Lee Jones in this movie. A really good movie. And then in a few years ago, in 2019, Chris Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson, and Liam Neeson, in a film directed by F. Gary Gray, Men in Black International. I can't really recommend that one. I didn't think that was a very good movie at all. But it's part of the series, so you might want to watch it. But certainly hit the first three. If anything, hit the first one. Good stuff. It's based on the Marvel Comics series Men in Black that was created by Lowell Cunningham. It stars, like I said, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith as two agents who kind of supervise extraterrestrial life here on Earth as Men in Black. It does feature special effects and makeup by Rick Baker. Now, you might know that name if you've been to the Horror Makeup Show. He is featured there on that show, and they talk a lot about his iconic work there at Universal Studios. And this is just a really fun movie. This is an iconic movie. You've probably seen it. If you have, see it again. And if you haven't, go get this. See this movie. It's really good, and it will improve and enhance your ride at Men in Black Alien Attack. And for all those reasons, Men in Black is the fourth set of movies you should be watching before you hit studios.
Top 10 gigawatts. That's number 3.
Transformers. I gotta start by telling you this. I'm not a huge fan of this attraction, and I'm not a huge fan of these movies. I have an appreciation for them, and I can certainly see why they're popular and why people why they like them. It's just not my thing. In 2007, the movie was released starring Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, directed by Michael Bay. Now, certainly Michael Bay is a world-class director, and he does a lot of good things. This film features a lot of computer animation with live action. Steven Spielberg was the executive producer. And Shia LaBeouf plays a teenager who gets caught kind of in this war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, these alien robots that can transform into just about any kind of vehicle or that we have here on Earth. It's a fun movie, the first one. It's actually fun, and it's enjoyable, and I liked it. And it will help your ride experience. Now, it has a lot of sequels to it. In 2009, Revenge of the Fallen, 2011, Dark of the Moon, 2014, Age of Extinction, 2017, The Last Night. Then they had a Bumblebee spin-off a couple years ago, and I understand they're planning a new movie, and they're looking for a director for that movie right now. Now, I haven't seen all these movies. I don't think you need to see them. If you like them, hey, go for it. It will enhance the ride. You'll be more familiar with the different kind of Autobots and Decepticons and Megatron and Optimus Prime, all the things that are there on this ride that will be more familiar to you as you try to get the Allspark and save the world. It's a fun ride. Don't misunderstand me. The attraction's good, and we do it every time we're there. But it's not my favorite. It's really just kind of a spin-off, not a spin-off, but a takeaway from Spider-Man on the Islands of Adventure side of things. I like that much better. But this is worth doing, and this, maybe more than any other movie, will enhance the ride for you because you'll be more familiar with what's going on. Like I said, I haven't seen all these movies. I don't love these movies, and I don't love the attraction. But I like the attraction better having seen that first movie. And for all those reasons, Transformers is the third series of movies that I think you should be watching.
Number 2.
All of the Bourne movies, Robert Ludlum's book series that have become movie series, huge movies, huge blockbuster things for Matt Damon that have really just launched him into the super megastar that he is. Big fan. I loved these movies. I read the books actually before the movies came out. I used to be a big reader when I was younger, and I loved Robert Ludlum. When I first heard that the Bourne Identity was being made into a movie, not the Richard Chamberlain, Jacqueline Smith version, I think from 1988, but a new one. Oh man, I was so excited. It came out in 2002. It stars Matt Damon, Julia Stiles, Brian Cox, and the immortal Chris Cooper, one of my favorite actors. Directed by Doug Liman. It's based on Robert Ludlum's novel, and Jason Bourne, Matt Damon starring Jason Bourne, is a man suffering from amnesia. and he is attempting to discover his true identity amidst this kind of CIA cover-up story. So the CIA is trying to kill him, everybody's trying to kill him, and he doesn't even know who he is. It's an excellent story, had multiple sequels. In 2004, The Bourne Supremacy, 2007, The Bourne Ultimatum, and then Jeremy Renner reprised the role in The Bourne Legacy as Aaron Cross, another kind of covert operative, the same idea as Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne is not in this movie, and neither is Matt Damon, but Jeremy Renner does a pretty good job as Aaron Cross in it, reprising that role. And then in 2016, the movie Jason Bourne came out again with Matt Damon coming back to play Jason Bourne. Great stuff, exciting movies, wonderful movies, and if you haven't seen The Bourne Stuntacular, wait in line, don't miss it. This is one of the best things I have seen ever. I will never miss this attraction, highly, highly rated. Don't miss The Bourne Stuntacular. I wasn't looking forward to it. I was like, And as much of a Bourne fan as I am, I thought, why are you reprising a role, or why are you making an attraction around a movie series that's kind of over? I'm so glad they did. This is an amazing show, and you don't want to miss it. And watching the movies will make it even better. And for all those reasons, Bourne comes in at number 2. Now, before we get to the number 1 reason, or the number 1 movie that I think you should be watching, I'm going to give you 2 honorable mentions. And you might laugh at these, and I've left some things out that you might disagree with. Things that aren't on my list are E.T. And Despicable Me. They're not here, and the reason they're not here is because I think you can enjoy the ride without seeing the movie. Certainly you can Despicable Me. Maybe not so much E.T., but E.T. is so iconic. And it actually borders on irrelevant to me. I don't know how many young people still watch E.T. or care about E.T. I don't know how popular he is anymore. And I actually think that ride should probably be rethemed. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that they should do it. But those 2 things are not on this list. My honorable mentions are, first of all, The Simpsons. The Simpsons is an iconic show. I am a fan, and the movie's pretty funny. It came out in 2007, directed by David Silverman. Stars the regular television cast. The film basically follows Homer around, who he's created a pollution in the lake in Springfield, so the water's going bad. They bring in, EPA, they basically put the town under a giant bubble, and just everything kind of goes wrong from there. It's a typical Simpsons movie. And it's not that it will enhance the ride for you, but I think if you're not familiar with The Simpsons and you don't feel like watching the show, you can watch the movie, and the whole area of Springfield will feel better to you. It will make more sense. Moe's, everything will be there because almost every element is in the movie. And so that's why it's the first honorable mention. The second honorable mention is the movie The Blues Brothers from 1980. The original Blues Brothers with Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi. One of my favorite movies. I'm from that kind of generation of SNL. I love the Blues Brothers show. I don't ever miss it. I think it's an amazing show. And you would have to watch this movie to really understand the nature of that show. It's not just a blues review. I mean, yeah, you can stand out there and see these guys in their dark suits singing blues, and that's cool, but the movie will bring it all together for you. In 1980, this movie was directed by John Landis. Featured powerhouse R&B blues performers Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Cab Calloway, Ray Charles, John Lee Hooker. Based in Chicago, Jake Blues and his brother Elwood, one of them gets paroled from prison, and they go on this mission from God to reform, get their blues band back together to raise money to keep an orphanage open. One of the best car chase scenes, one of the funniest movies you'll ever see, an amazing cast. I can never list everybody in the cast to you. It's just a movie. If you haven't seen it, see this movie. It's really good, really funny. Don't watch it with your children. It's not appropriate. It's rated R for a reason, but it's good, and it will make the Blues Brothers show there at Universal Studios much better, I promise you. And for all those reasons, The Simpsons and the Blues Brothers are your honorable mentions. So here it is.
Hey, number 1.
I'm sure you already know what it is. It has to be Harry Potter, right? Any one of the movies, but I'm going to say all of the movies. Before you go to either side, Islands or Universal, you need to watch the Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone from 2001, Chamber of Secrets from 2002, Prisoner of Azkaban from 2004, Goblet of Fire 2005, Order of the Phoenix from 2007, Half-Blood Prince 2009, Deathly Hallows Part 1 in 2010, and Part 2 in 2011. This is one of the most, if not the most iconic movie franchise in the history of movies. And you'll all know the story. If you don't already know what this is about, you're not watching this video, but I'll give you a brief synopsis. Harry Potter is an orphaned wizard boy brought up by his non-magical muggle uncle and aunt. He is informed that he's a wizard, that some bad wizard killed his parents, and because his mother saved his life, it cast the charm off of him, the spell off of him, and went on to Voldemort. I know you know this story, and the whole series is basically about his informative years growing up at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, his friendship with Ron and Hermione and everybody else there. I don't have to go on about this movie. You already know about it. You've already watched them, most likely. Watch them again before you go. I mean, can you ever really watch enough Harry Potter? I don't think you can. Great stuff. And Universal has, I've said it a million times, they have captured the element of theming and immersion like no one else has when it comes to Diagon Alley, in particular on the studio side. Watch these movies before you go. Like I said, you're not going to miss this, and it will make everything better in that park. You will understand what you're seeing in Wizarding, or in the Wizarding World there in Diagon Alley. You will understand what you're seeing down in Borgin and Burke's, down in Nocturne Alley. You will understand Weasley's store. You will understand Gringotts. It will all make perfect sense. If you haven't seen these movies, see these movies. If you've already seen these movies and you haven't, read the books and then see the movies. Great stuff is taking place in these movies, and they will absolutely enhance your experience on the studio side of Diagon Alley. And for all of those reasons, all the Harry Potter movies are the #1 movies you should be watching before you go to studios. Hey guys, that's your video for this week. I want to thank you again for being a part of what this channel is doing, for all the growing that's taken place. It's all because of you guys. I appreciate it. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and on Facebook. And remember to like and subscribe and to hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we put out a new video. God bless you guys. I mean that. God bless you. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. And remember, take this, go bless somebody else today. Go find somebody else to do something amazing for, and watch what happens in your life. We'll see you.